This video was created by VinylicPuma of VinylicPumaGaming. What's going on, everybody? This is VinylicPuma, and today I want to talk to you about how you can actually apparently get paid to play mobile games. According to VentureBeat.com, and I quote, "Game makers have had a tough time monetizing mobile titles as they advertise heavily to recruit new players. TinyLoot wants to turn that on its head, paying players a small amount of money so that they will keep on playing a game and spend money in it too." Okay, so if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to explain this here as best as I possibly can. When you traditionally download a game or an app from the App Store, whether it be Google Play, whether it be the Amazon App Store, or the Apple App Store, basically what happens is, let's say you download a game like Angry Birds. You play through a couple levels and then you have to watch an ad. Or if you're playing a game and then you die, but it gives you the option to watch an ad to get a continue, you most likely are going to be seeing an ad for a game that was actually being paid by a game developer. As you can possibly imagine, the costs of doing this kind of advertising have to be very high. In addition, let's say your game gets placed wrong. Like, let's say you have a game like that's a puzzle game and it's getting advertised with Dead Trigger, which is a zombie shooter game. Now, the audience that may be interested in that zombie shooter game may have no interest in puzzle games. So I can imagine this being a real big problem for these developers. Of course, the whole idea behind TinyLoot is to basically give developers an alternate solution to paying so much for advertising in their games. According to VentureBeat, with TinyLoot, developers or publishers spend less money than they would on ads, and their money goes to players. If those players really like a game, they will turn around and spend the money they earn in that game. The focus is on finding players who are dedicated and affordable. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and link the TinyLoot website as well as the VentureBeat article in the description if you want to check those out. But what I am going to go ahead and do right now is give you guys my thoughts on the whole idea behind TinyLoot. So let's go. If you ask me, the idea behind TinyLoot, if it eventually works, it seems like on paper that would be a very effective advertising model, because I think the idea of a testimonial is more effective than some ad that just flashes up in a game. Now, really, my reasoning behind this is because let's say you are a gamer or you play video games, whether you play on consoles, whether you play on PC, or whether you're just kind of a casual gamer and you play on mobile devices. I mean, if you think about it, let's say somebody were to say to you, "Hey, we have this cool game that we developed. You should play it." Most people are going to say, you know, I'm not going to do that. But if your friend comes up to you and says, or a third party comes up to you and says, "Hey, this game is really cool. I think you should check it out," I would kind of think, hey, well, you know, maybe this game is actually pretty good. I'll try it. And ultimately, as long as it stays in the realm of just regular people playing games, talking about games, I think this is actually a really great idea. The only problem that I see from this is if people are getting famous playing these games and they're being paid for it, I think ultimately this system will kind of become corrupt. But the likelihood of that happening, I don't see that being very high. If they're only paying you enough money to where it'll reduce the costs of some of the in-app purchasing, really this will never really be a problem. But as far as, and that's another point, as far as in-app purchasing goes, a lot of people like myself kind of look at these free-to-play model games and it's like, man, I really do not want to pay money for something that you may have taken out of the game. Well, if you're being paid to play it, it may offset the cost of getting the said item, and it may put most players on a same or equal level playing field, or maybe more of one when they're starting. But anyway, this is just kind of my whole thoughts on this thing. So what do you guys think about TinyLoot? Do you think this is a great idea? Are you intrigued by it? Or do you think, well, this is ultimately open to corruption and it's kind of blasphemy or something? Honestly, from my perspective, I'm kind of curious to see what it is, and I'd be curious to try it out and see how things work. But anyway, guys, I'd like to thank you all for watching this video. If you did like the video, please be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really helps me out. Otherwise, I'll see you all later. Take care and have a good one.